For more than 4 years into Russia's war against Ukraine, the country remains at the center of Europe's security debate. To discuss how Ukraine sees the war today, the resilience of its society, and the challenge of sustaining international support, we are joined by Mr. Olександър Мережко, Chairman of the Foreign Policy and Interparliamentary Cooperation Committee of Ukrainian Parliament. Welcome, dear Mr. Merejko. Thank you for accepting our request and having you today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, Mr. Merejko, after 4 years of war in Ukraine, how would you describe the current mood inside Ukrainian society today? Does the Ukrainian still have the same determination that we saw in the beginning of the full-scale invasion?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to remind that initially, not many countries believe that we'll be able to survive, and many believe that Kyiv would be taken by Russian troops within 3 days, and Ukraine as a state would collapse. It never happened. We have entered the 5th year of war against Russian invasion, and we see that we continue to fight, we continue to repel Russian attacks, and according to the recent information, we have managed, even our army have managed to liberate some territories previously occupied by Russian troops. So situation on the battlefield looks, I would say, relatively stable. And it's definitely not in favor of Russia. Russia is not winning the war, and we are not losing the war, no matter how difficult it is. We have survived extremely difficult winter. It was cold in our apartment, sometimes 5 degrees in our apartments, because we didn't have central heating. We didn't have electricity. So it was dark and cold in our apartments, but it's behind us. So we continue to fight. And the answer to your question is very simple. No matter how tired we are, but we have no choice. We understand that if we stop fighting against Russian aggression, we'll be exterminated as a nation. And that's why we continue to fight. And we firmly believe that sooner or later, we'll manage to prevail.
Yes, I hope so. What can you tell us, Mr. Merejko, about the status of the negotiations with Russia, and what is the red lines for Ukraine on this negotiation? What to expect from that?
Negotiations have stalled. We see it. One of the reasons is that President Trump got distracted by the war in the Middle East, and negotiations were postponed. But I don't believe in these negotiations for a very simple reason, because Putin has not abandoned his ultimate goal to destroy Ukraine, to subjugate Ukraine. He continues to do it. He is using these negotiations. He's imitating the process of negotiations, and he's using for only one purpose: to avoid sanctions imposed by President Trump. For Putin, these negotiations are comfortable, and they play into his hands, so to speak. It's definitely not in the interest of Ukraine. And from my perspective, President Trump has made a huge mistake, political strategic mistake, when he decided not to insist on his initial so-called peace plan with regard to unconditional ceasefire. And he allowed Putin to impose his rules, because Putin, it's comfortable for him to continue to destroy Ukraine while pretending that he negotiates. That's why there will be no result. The result and serious negotiations can start only if there will be maximum pressure put by the United States on Russia and on Russian allies. Only maybe then there will be serious negotiations. At the moment, I don't see any result on the horizon.
Yes. As you mentioned the war in the Middle East, recently the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that at least 11 countries have approached Ukraine asking for help in countering Iranian-made drones. Based on the experience, the unique experience that now Ukraine has defending its cities from Russia using Shahed drones, supplied by Iran. How is Ukraine currently responding to this request, and what kind of assistance can Ukraine realistically provide to these countries? And moreover, is this a signal that Ukraine is emerging not only as a country defending itself, but also becoming a new global security partner that is actually even already reshaping broader security thinking in Europe and beyond?
Yes. Well, first of all, to use President Trump's phrase, Ukraine turned out to be that we do have cards to play, and turned out to be that Ukraine is not only a problem of security; it can be solution to security problems in the world. We have accumulated invaluable experience, especially when it comes to producing drones and interceptors. We know how to fight effectively against drones because each night we might have several hundreds of drones, Russian and Iranian drones, by the way, used against Ukraine only in Kyiv, for example. So because of the war, we had to become very creative. We had to create very advanced, high technology military production. And that's why we are eager to share our experience with other countries, including the United States. So it means that, yes, we can be a reliable partner, and security of Europe and security, even security of the United States, might depend on Ukrainian military capabilities and our expertise in this field.
Yes, indeed. About these tensions in the Middle East, it seems that these affect the global security calculations in Ukraine is concerned that Russia could indirectly benefit, whether through shifting international attention, changes in energy markets, or even pressure to soften sanctions. That was like an idea to remove some sanctions to Russia. What will be the consequences for Ukraine if these sanctions pressures are weakened?
Well, I hope it will not happen, because if it happens, it will create a very dangerous precedent, and Russia will definitely use it. The thing is that the war will continue until Russia runs out of oil revenues. And if Russia receives additional oil revenues due to lifting sanctions, it means that the war will drag on. It will continue, and there will be more casualties, including civilian population in Ukraine. That's why we translate such lifting of sanctions, we translate it into human lives, which will be lost because of that. And we should think in terms of, in these moral terms, I would say. That's why it's so dangerous. But I do hope that President Trump, his advisors, they will not take this decision.
Yes. And speaking about the support of the European Union and the United States, how strong do you consider this support is today? And what are the Ukraine most urgent expectations from their partners right now?
European countries, they openly say that Ukraine is fighting for them, that the issue of Ukraine is issue of security for the whole Europe. They don't want Russia to dominate Europe, aggressive empire which is trying to establish hegemony across the Europe. They don't want this to happen, and they are determined, committed to continue to support Ukraine. It's a matter also of their security and defense. That's why they continue to support us. And we see in European countries our reliable friends and partners. Unfortunately, if we take the United States, situation has changed a bit, but we remain hopeful that, first of all, that America as a country continues to support Ukraine. If we take public opinion in the United States, most Americans, prevailing majority, I would say, they understand that it's important to continue to support Ukraine. Congress, we enjoy bipartisan support in the Congress. So what we see from the Western democratic states, that they understand the meaning and importance of Ukraine for them, for global security, and we are hopeful and optimistic in this regard.
Thank you. Just a last question. I would like you to send a message to our Bulgarian as a country. What message will you send directly to the Bulgarian people, and about why continued support, as you said, for Ukraine still matters today for both for Ukraine and for Europe as a whole?
We had a meeting. I've been recently to Cyprus for a conference, because we know that Cyprus is presiding right now in the European Union, and there's supposed to be a conference of the chairs of the foreign committees of European parliaments held. I came, and it was cancelled. It was cancelled because of 2 drones which attacked British military bases. And to me, it was kind of an unusual experience, because 2 drones in Ukraine, not many people would pay much attention when you have each night hundreds of drones.
Every day.
Yes. Yeah, but I'm talking about this because luckily I had a very productive, interesting meeting with Bulgarian delegation, who also came like me. And for me, I have never been to Bulgaria, but I realized that Bulgaria, in terms of culture, in terms of democracy, we're very close as nations, as people. We're very close. And it makes a lot of sense for Bulgaria as an EU member, as a NATO member, to understand that Ukraine wants to have the same security situation as Bulgaria. And I see that there are changes in the attitude of people in Bulgaria. They understand the importance of Ukraine. They clearly see that we are the victim of the aggression, and Russia is a perpetrator, is a criminal terrorist state which is trying to destroy us, because this war which Russia is waging against Ukraine is genocidal war, and Bulgaria cannot stand on the sidelines and just to be an observer. So that's why I'm first of all, I'm grateful to people of Bulgaria and Parliament of Bulgaria for providing necessary military aid for Ukraine, because this aid helps us to survive. It helps to save lives of innocent people, like children, like women, elderly people, civilian population. It's extremely important, not only for Ukraine, but for Bulgaria, because we are fighting also for Bulgaria. Russia is waging hybrid war against Bulgaria. And it's true. That's why we as democratic states, we are on the same side of this global conflict.
Thank you very much, Mr. Merejko, for having you here and giving us great insights from Ukraine.
Thank you very much, and
Thank
I
you.
hope to have you again soon, and in Bulgaria directly.
See you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.